This episode of the Marketing One podcast is sponsored by Riverside.fm, the leading platform to record studio quality podcasts from anywhere. More than 70,000 other podcasts use Riverside, including myself, the Pivot to Balance podcast, Gary Vee, and companies like Spotify and even the New York Times. What's amazing about Riverside is that when you are recording a podcast or remote interview, recording is independent of Wi-Fi stability, which is huge because content is recorded locally, which ensures reliable and uncompressed content quality. It's basically a studio inside your browser, and it is super intuitive and easy to use. Once your recording is done, you'll automatically be able to download separate audio and video tracks and edit your content with a few clicks. Riverside.fm also has Magic AI, which helps you create videos for TikTok, YouTube Shorts, and Instagram Reels. So if you haven't yet given Riverside a try, visit riverside.fm and use my code AK15, which is AKAY15, to start recording studio quality sound and video and get 15% off of a membership plan. Now, let's dive into the episode.
Hello and welcome to the Marketing Woman podcast. I'm your host, Anusha Khannan, and I'm so excited to have you here. Are you looking to move into marketing or want to learn marketing from scratch? We discuss all things marketing, analytics, business, personal branding, and much more in a way any layman can understand. If you're new here, make sure to follow along and get on that email list by visiting tmw.anushakhannan.com. And now, let's dive in. Hey, before we dive into this week's episode, do you mind taking 5 seconds of your time to rate and review us on your favorite podcast platform? It would really help other people find this podcast, and I would also love your feedback. Thank you for taking the time, and now let's dive into the episode. Hey, before we dive into this week's episode, let's do our, well, it's not my bi-weekly catch-up because it's been a while, so let's do our, hey, it's been a while, let's catch up session. So the last couple of weeks and last month, in fact, I released 2 podcasts. The first one is called the Pivot to Balance podcast, and the second one is called 20s in Transition. So the Pivot to Balance podcast, it's all about work-life balance, living alone, just dealing with life, mindset, being productive, and all talking about other aspects of life. Go ahead and check it out. I would love your support there. And the second podcast that I started is 20s in Transition with a friend of mine, where we talk about 20-year-olds generally going through, just life. And it's also a fun podcast, so it's not very serious all the time. So go ahead and check it out. We have around 4 to 5 episodes out, and I would love your support there as well. Other than that, the third thing is I completed all of my December books. It's just been, I've always loved going back to these books. And the next thing I'm going to do is the next couple of weeks, I'm going to start a new book. It's a book called Level Up by Rob Dial. I got that book as soon as Rob started talking about releasing it, and I pre-ordered it, and I have absolutely no regrets. Obviously, the minute I got the book, I went into it, I read like 50 pages, but I still have a couple of pages left, and I'm gonna continue reading that. I'm gonna finish it by the end of the year, and I will talk more about that book in our next bi-weekly catch-up. I have been following Rob for the last couple of years, and I love the wisdom that he has to share. So I'm pretty sure that this book is going to just add more to the knowledge that he's already sharing. All right, so today's episode. In today's episode, my God, we are on season 4. I cannot believe that I'm already on season 4. This is episode 16. The Marketing Women podcast has been in the making for around 3 years. And I just found out that the Marketing Women podcast was ranked 105 in Armenia. I appreciate all of you so much for being so supportive of the Marketing Women podcast and every other thing that I do. Really appreciate that. My entire goal with this podcast is to learn more and share what I've been learning, and also meet new people through the podcast. So please feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. Send me a chat. I would love to meet new people. Thank you so much for being so supportive. So let me know what you guys think about this podcast, any topic that you want me to cover. I would absolutely love to do that. And now let's dive into season 4. So basically in this season, we're going to cover a lot of analytics. And in this episode, we are going to talk about customer analytics. So why me? Who am I to walk you through customer analytics? For the last 6 months, I've been into analytics, and I've been doing business analytics, and I've been focusing more on customer analytics. It's been exciting. The learning curve has definitely been something that I did not expect. And as marketers, a lot of marketers talk about this, right? We have to have a relationship with the analytics department. Thankfully, I have a good background in marketing. I also know analytics. So it's been a good start for me. So I definitely think that this has been a fascinating experience for me. So customer analytics is basically, it's the heart of any business, right? So without understanding what your customers are doing in your business, you're really just not going to know how to reach out to them. So customer analytics is basically the heart of your business. It's your guiding force. It's going to help you develop and form strategies. It's going to help you figure out what you have to do with your business. How is your marketing going to be? How are you going to buy or sell? Let's say that you have a software company, right? How are you going to know which parts of your software your customers are buying? You need customer analytics. You need to know how often people are subscribing to your subscription plan. Which subscription plan are they going for? Why not the others? Understanding these things are so important because you run your business for your customers. So if you don't understand your customers, what's the whole point? Get closer than ever to your customers. So close that you tell them what they need well before they even realize it. I think Amazon really does a great job of, embodying this code. For example, let's say that you want to buy an outfit on Amazon, right? If you bought once or twice on Amazon, it kind of picks up on what your size is, right? So they recommend, hey, the last 2 purchases that you made, you bought, let's say, a medium size or a small size. And they end up telling you, based on other customers and feedback and also your purchasing pattern, obviously they're not gonna tell you purchasing pattern, but they'll suggest this is the right fit for you. This could be the right fit for you. So that's customer analytics, right? So if they didn't understand your purchasing pattern or behaviors, they wouldn't be able to suggest this. And I think as a customer, it's really helpful because I don't want to look at each outfit and think about, well, certain brands, the size fits me and the size doesn't fit me. Which one's going to be right for me? I mean, I could go through the reviews, but how accurate are they? How can I believe these people that are giving all of these reviews and ratings? I think Amazon does a great job at this. So in this episode, I'm going to walk you through a couple of customer analytics concepts that I've learned through the years, and I've luckily been able to implement a few of these in my full-time job as well. So when I did my postgraduate in data science and business analytics, I was introduced to RFM, customer churn, and a lot of different things, and I found that to be pretty intimidating at first, but it's been such a great experience for me to implement that in my day-to-day job as well. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is obviously RFM. RFM is recency, frequency, and monetary. So for me, the right example would be grocery shopping. So let's say that I am someone that gets pasta every other week. That's twice in 1 month, right? Let's say that I stopped getting pasta for the last couple of weeks. So the grocery shop would have to naturally think, so this person who is buying pasta every other week has stopped buying pasta for the last 2 months. In some cases, it depends on the business, right? So some people think that, hey, it's not really pasta season, it's just some other season, or there's some news going around about pasta. It could be anything. It could be a brand problem. There are so many factors that could be influencing this decision, or it could simply just be that they found a better offer on some other site where they could get pasta for wholesale. So understanding these things is very important for the business. With this example, let's talk about RFM. So the recency is, me as a customer, I used to buy pasta every other week, but the last time I bought it was 2 months ago. That's recency. So me buying pasta every other week is frequency, and monetary is how many pasta boxes did I buy a month? 2 or 3 or 4? And what monetary value did that bring to the company? Because not all customers or products that are being churned is exactly a loss for the company or the business. It depends on the monetary value. Another thing is, take airlines, for example. RFM analysis, I think, is mostly used in airlines. When you, let's say, hey, look, before moving to Cleveland, I didn't really take a lot of flights from Boston to other cities. But before moving to Cleveland, I did fly back and forth from Boston to Cleveland. So the airlines must have thought, hey, this customer's frequency and recency has been pretty, up to the standard. And maybe we can move them up a rank and call them, I don't know, a silver or gold, whatever it is that applies. And that's ranking. As an airline, we start ranking our customers, right? So what we're doing here is, let's say you fly monthly once. I'm going to rank you as a silver customer. Let's say that you fly every other week. I'm going to rank you as a gold customer. Let's say that you fly every day or every 2 days. I'm going to rank you as a platinum customer. So that's how you get miles, right? People say, hey, I need to get my miles. Well, it depends on what category you fit into. All of these help understand and tailor better marketing efforts, and also not just marketing efforts. There are a lot of different things you could do when you rank a customer. How do you communicate with them? How are they being treated? A lot of different things. And that's why flying first class is so exclusive, because they get treated better. And why do they get treated better? Because they're in a better ranking. And it's not that every single person who flies first class has always been flying first class, but the company doesn't always know that. Let's say that they do make a good amount of impression. They might just get these people to turn into a first class flying people. Just joking. Hey, it's a possibility, okay? If you have money. So that's RFM for you. The second one is customer segmentation. We've talked about this in the first season. So understanding your customers' behavior and characteristics can help you strategize a good marketing plan. So this is where the ranking and segmentation comes into place, right? So what we are essentially doing here is we're saying, hey, these people, these are their characteristics and this is how we're going to categorize them. But keep in mind that these categories can constantly keep changing. So let's say, for example, when I was moving from Boston to Cleveland, I was flying back and forth a good amount of time. So for them, I would have become a frequent flyer. But I stopped flying back to Boston now. What does that make me? I'm obviously dropped down in rankings, right? They'll obviously not rank me as number 2 or number 3 anymore because I haven't been flying for the last couple of months. So categories are often changing. And the good thing about that is it helps you strategize better marketing plans. The third one is very similar, which is cohort analysis. What they do here is now they can start analyzing. So why did Anusha, who was flying from Boston to Cleveland, from Cleveland to Boston, again from Boston to Cleveland, why did she stop flying? Why has she moved down from the cohort that we assigned her to? Understanding this can help you understand a lot about your customer life cycle and what they can do here. And this also gives you an opportunity to see, hey, what was the monetary value that she was bringing in? Are we losing out on a big chunk of money here, or is it just not too much and it was just like a one-time thing? Understanding this is such a big deal for every single business and that's the only way you know how to tailor your marketing efforts. Now let's move on to something a little bit different. The fourth thing is predictive analytics. Predictive analytics is mostly about statistical analysis, machine learning, and going to that deep technical part. If you're not into technical stuff and if you're not into analytics, completely fine. Predictive analytics is mostly predicting stuff. It's about forecasting. Hey, what do you think? We have all of this data. What do you think customers are likely to do in the next couple of months or the next couple of years? Where do you see these sales dollars going? What do you think is going to happen with this business or with this segment of customers or with this cohort? Understanding that is what predictive analytics does. They also go a little bit deep into understanding churn rate because, hey, do you think these people are going to churn? Because, for example, when I stopped flying from Boston to Cleveland, the likelihood of me churning as a customer was pretty high. Understanding these things is what predictive analytics does. Again, this is very important for every single part of the business, right? If you don't understand what's working and what's not working, you may never be able to make changes accordingly. You need to understand, hey, which mail is being opened? Which mail is not being opened? Which sort of marketing is working? Which sort of marketing is not working? Because let's say that you're going to send me an email saying, hey, you are our silver customer and we're going to up you to platinum. Why haven't you flown in a while? That's not going to work on me. That's definitely not going to work on me. But if you make that very personalized and you tell me, hey, it's been a while since you've been in Boston. How about we give you, some amount of credit or something? That'll probably work on me. I think personalization and marketing is more about using the data to speak with the customers and not just push emails out. The fifth thing is customer lifetime value. So, for example, let's say that you're subscribing to Netflix, right? What is the monthly revenue that you as a sole customer bring into the business? What kind of relationship do you have with them? For example, what subscription plan do you have with them? Do you have the premium version, or are you that I'm okay with ads, I do not want to pay more kind of a person? Hey, not judging you. I love both. So understanding this will help Netflix give you better offers. This will help the business allocate you into, hey, you are a high value customer. Hey, you are a not so high value customer. And this will again help them tailor better marketing efforts. The sixth thing is customer sentiment analysis. This is by far my favorite one. And this is mostly something that I studied in my master's degree in my first semester, which is basically taking reviews, feedback, and whatever it is that the customers put out there, content created. Let's also call it content created by customers. We talked about user-generated content, right? So what we're doing here is taking whatever they're saying, analyzing that, and giving that a score. We're going to gauge the overall brand value using that data. Because I think businesses can understand the whole perception of brand using the data that customers are giving you, and you can make necessary improvements because not every single feedback, not every single review is going to make a difference. But if you have a bunch of these people feeling the same way about the brand, that means you need to change brand perception. The last thing is cross-selling and upselling analytics. If you've gone to any business, right, they'll tell you, hey, if you get this monthly package, this is what you're going to pay. But if you get the annual subscription, this is what you're going to pay. Or they'll tell you, hey, get this and get that one for free. right? It's all about cross selling and upselling. So they're either trying to combine two different categories and selling you that, or they're trying to make you buy the higher value price and selling the lower value item at an offer, or saying that, hey, buy one and get this free. Most of the time, you're spending a lot of money there, but it's still good business. If you go and buy a book on Amazon, they'll tell you people also bought these two books. This is a good product recommendation strategy because here they're telling you to buy not one book, but 3 books. But you went there to buy 1 book. If you're anything like me, you'll end up buying 3 books. So these are the customer analytics concepts that I've been solely focused on for the last couple of months. I've been really learning a lot about this. I know that we barely scratched the surface here and there's so many things that we can talk about. I will come back with more. I'll come back with more information. Let me know in the Q&A box what else you would like to learn, or if there is any specific topic that you want me to cover. I would absolutely love to learn that, or if I already know that, great, easy job for me. But I love putting myself in difficult situations, so give me a challenge, okay? I just think customer satisfaction, customer-led growth is just amazing. I think ever since I got into marketing, I've always been focused on understanding customer centricity. How can you serve the customer better? Because what has happened with marketing 3.0, marketing 4.0, and marketing 5.0 is that we've become more customer-centric than product-centric. So the product is not the central focus. It's about the customer. It's about maintaining relationships. It's about building relationships. What can you do best for both the customer and the business? There is also a link in the description with an anonymous link. If you don't want to reach out to me directly, that is totally fine. Put your comments in that link. Use the Q&A box below. If you're listening to this on Spotify, there's also a poll in the description. So go ahead, check it out, vote, and I would love to hear your thoughts on that.